about the Nicole Arbour and Jordan Peterson interview.
You're seeing naked people constantly. It didn't used to be like that 10 years ago. To see some...
Of course, Nicole Arbour straight goes for naked people, right? Just talking about naked people with Jordan Peterson. She's a total fangirl, is in love with Jordan Peterson, puts him up on a pedestal.
It was Playboy. It was almost so special and not...
I can remember the first time that I saw...
Hey, Jordan Peterson, when was the first time you saw a naked woman? He's about to tell us. Even
a naked woman in a video, in film. It was actually, if I remember correctly, it was in The Life of Brian.
The Life of Brian.
Scene where one of the girlfriends of one of the revolutionary types opens the curtains and she's naked, and that's the first time I saw. I think I'd seen Playboy pictures before that, but it just blew me away. I can remember, and I think I was about 13 or so, and you know, it was a revelation of sorts, obviously, and now that's nothing. That's nothing. It's nothing. That's there in droves. Any boy can see more sexual imagery than anyone ever saw in their whole life 30 years ago.
So there you go, sexual revolution, right? And Jordan Peterson, Nicole Arbour. This actually was a fascinating conversation. You should check out the entire. It's only an hour, 16 minutes long. So this is, you know, Nicole Arbour. She's hilarious. Jordan Peterson, right? He's hilarious and an intellectual sex symbol. Nicole Arbour is just oozing fangirl, just oozing, just giddy and, you know, giggling, and she just feel like she's doing what she can to maybe get Jordan Peterson to be her husband, but at the same time, you know, maintaining professionalism. So she's, you know, she said that she would fight anybody for Jordan Peterson. Hey, you got somebody you want me to fight for? So Nicole Arbour is going to be, you know, Jordan Peterson's, you know, top gunner. It's going to be her number one sugar man right there. They're both Canadians, so they kind of, you know, have that Canadian, you know, sort of accent. But the conversation was awesome. The conversation, Jordan Peterson needed a, you know, a lift me up, and Nicole Arbour, she's funny as fuck. She's fucking funny. And so I found this awesome. She said that she was a fangirl to him, so, you know, she's like, I'm sorry if that makes it awkward for you. And he actually said that perhaps you need some professional help with that. And then she says, well, you're a professional, so what do you think I needed? And he was like, well, I'll just take it for me, and I'm flattered. And he didn't say nothing past that. But yeah, she goes on. It's not. She said that he's a DILF, right? When it compared to like a MILF, a mom that you'd like to. Well, he's a DILF. And then she also asked to eat a steak. Can I eat a steak with you, or can? And he said something about barbecuing a steak. Well, hell yeah, we can eat a steak. I'll barbecue a steak. So she's got, you know, dinner coming to her, and then they're going to do a duet on TikTok. Hey, you want to do a duet on TikTok? She's got to fight, you know, somebody for him. They're going to do a duet on TikTok. They're going to eat steak, right, with JP, this DILF, right, this intellectual sex symbol. She's a total fangirl. The very first, she started the conversation off right because in the very beginning she asked Jordan Peterson, if you could kill one person, who would it be? And that's such a hilarious question to start with. Would you be allowed to answer the question? I mean, I don't know. I don't even know. It's a funny question, though. So she's a comedian. She did what
I started to experiment with you.
You know, what she's known for, right?
It was, and I still haven't really understood what it is, because it's a revolutionary technology, video on demand.
She's talking about YouTube.
TV producer, if they want to be, and there's no barrier to publication, and there's no administration, there's no bureaucracy, there's infinite bandwidth, there's the possibility of dialogues with your audience. Like I saw this, one thing I had was released on I think it was TikTok, but I might be wrong. I think you can do these things called duets on TikTok. Where, yes. So someone will.
Oh my God, we should do a duet on TikTok. I'm just saying, but go ahead.
Well, I just found out about them, but they're part of this.
We should totally get married and have a bunch of babies. I'm just saying.
Finding that for every 15 points a woman's IQ goes up over 100, she has 35% less chance of being married. And the reverse is true.
ask you about this because Michaela and I have discussed this as well, and
It's the exact opposite for a woman, so basically, I don't know what the implications of that is. Let's go to another part.
does that make sense to you? That's how I stand back and look at it. We don't have the data yet, guys, so we shouldn't be making big, giant decisions when we just don't have the data yet. And this is a lot of kids. There's a lot of kids that are transitioning now, so it's an
Yes,
interesting
well, and it's not a trivial matter, the transition. Now, if you can argue that it's not a trivial matter to not transition if that's your destiny and not to do it early, but I don't think, well, the data suggested that 85% of children with gender dysphoria accepted their biological reality by the time they were 18. So, but a substantial proportion of them did end. Sorry, this is the answer to your question. A substantial proportion of them did end up gay. And so, yes, if you're transitioning, the more transitioning children medically, if all of the rest of that is true, then those are children who would have been gay who have now transitioned. Yes, that is. If those other propositions are true, that is what's happening.
We're in trouble already. I can feel it for having this discussion. But that happens. It just keeps happening. Do you think I'm often in trouble for having discussions like this too? But do you think you and I maybe are missing something that we should have, where we should care that people are upset with us for having these conversations?
Well, I do care, and it's very difficult for me generally to have these conversations because I do understand the paying attention to the old you. You have to have the old you in mind. You're going to be old. I don't think I can answer that question. I mean, in my darkest fantasies?
If you could kill anybody and get away with it, like off with their head, Queen style, just one person, who would it be?
I don't think
Hannibal
I can answer
Lecter.
that question.
Oh.
I mean, in my darkest fantasies?
I won't tell anybody.
I have no idea how to answer that, Nicole.
That's a lie. I can see you thinking of someone in your head, but that's okay. We'll skip to the second question.
So that was a great conversation. I felt like Jordan Peterson needed a nice little pick-me-up, and I hope this Nicole Arbour interview, this is on the Jordan B. Peterson channel. He's a conservative, but I think he's just a very bland conservative that just says he's a conservative. So people have been shitting on this poor guy. Ultimately, things got to stay the same or they got to change, right? Some things got to stay the same and some things got to change. So some things are conserved. You got to conserve, right? The nature and that the conservation of nature and wildlife and shit, and that like conservation by itself isn't neither, you know, it's how you apply it, but ultimately my understanding of the definitions of conservative and liberal is change and keeping things the same. Some things got to change, some things, so therefore I think we're all liberal and conservative in some respects. And Jordan Peterson considers himself a conservative. He's, you know, professor. I don't even know what the fuck he specializes in, but, you know, he got famous doing his professorship, right, talking about whatever history or psychoanalytics, Sigmund Freud or some shit, I don't know. But he tells you to stand up straight, right? Keep your stand up straight, your shoulders back, which maybe you should talk about sticking that chest out, getting that chest out. That's a good. What's the hate about that? Why would you hate that? He also wants you to read Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights. So I don't know. He also goes dancing with his wife. He seems like a pretty fucking rockin', decent guy, okay? Milton Friedman's a conservative or whatever. Jordan Peter's conservative, but I feel like you can't just hate the motherfucker just because he's a conservative. That's stupid. You're not on my side. I mean, it's something, but not really. That's nothing. That's nothing. It's like, I hate how your ideology is constituted. I hate how you lean towards keeping things the same, you motherfucker. Well, I hate how you lean towards changing everything, you son of a bitch. Let's keep the good things and throw out the fucking garbage, right? Throw out the garbage. What do you do with your garbage? You keep your garbage. You live in your own slop, you fucking pig. You live in your own filth. You live in your own shit, you fucking pig. Is that what you do with your trash? There's been several nights I've seen like strings of lights going up above, overhead. So it makes me think like it's a convoy of military jets. It looked like one was going northeast, and the other was going out to Texas or some shit, out to the Gulf and up to Fort Collins or what. But you know how it be. You know how it do. You know whose you be, and you know what you do. So Jordan Peterson, Nicole Arbour, check it out. Good interview.